Okay, so our next speaker is Denitsa Belogusheva, and she's CEO and co-founder of a company with a really cool name, Tutuf. I don't know about you, but I really like this name. And she has a long experience in the software industry, over 16 years. And today, she has experience with managing people, teams, projects, everything. And today she's going to speak about a long-term relationship with the client and how she managed to keep it and what lessons she learned. So let's go up for Denitsa.
Thank you, Tsveti. So my name is Denitsa, and I'm very happy to be here. And today I'd like to share with you some lessons I learned while working on one of our biggest projects. It's an e-commerce platform, Reus Monolith. It's one of the biggest e-commerce sites in Bulgaria. It's called Laptop BG. And just to give you an idea of how big is the project, it's less than 100,000 lines of code. And the platform itself serves around 50,000 orders per year. And it has some ERP components like manufacturing, inventory management, and so on. And let me show you the project timeline. It began in the year 2009. And we had the honor of having two local rockstar developers laying the foundations of the project and building its core engine. Later, the team grew, and we were more than happy to welcome another great local developer, whom you may know from previous Balkan Ruby editions and her work with Rails Girl Sofia events. And during this second stage, we were focused on building features and fixing bugs. And of course, we made lots of mistakes and accumulated tons of technical debt and legacy code. But we started learning from our failures. And today, I think we are in the evolving stage of the product. Where we point our efforts in developing each feature so that it brings even greater value to the core business and empowers the users to solve their problems even more. And again, we are grateful to have the chance now to work with another great local developers we had the opportunities to work with before. And today we organize these mission-driven teams that help us upgrade the application to the latest Ruby or Ruby on Rails versions. And now just let me show you a quick line of the talk. We will take a look at what it's like to work on a long-term project for 16 years from 3 different perspectives. The first, we'll take a look at the technical side, then how the team evolved and what challenges we faced. And at the end, we'll take a look at how you can build a successful and long-term partnership with the stakeholders. So now let's dive in the technical part and how we made the decisions. We always choose simplicity over complexity whenever we could. And you may think that metaprogramming is not as simple, but for us it was a key decision that allowed us to build the core engine of the product. It's an engine that actually empowers the users to generate code themselves, and thus leaving the complexity of the domain in the hands of the ones who knew it best, and saving us countless developer hours. So it was one important decision. Next, as years go by, we found that the Rails way was not always good for us and added unnecessary complexity. So we turned to PostgreSQL and tried to solve most of the issues. We had performance issues with just set operations, and it really cleaned the code and improved performance. And over the years, we faced some domain-specific problems that didn't have a ready-to-use solution yet. And together with the stakeholders, we decided to develop separate satellite projects to solve these issues. And the stakeholders chose the different teams, different tech stacks, and came up with these satellite projects, and this allowed us to leave the monolith pretty simple. And through the years, we learned that hard coding logic or breaking best practices comes with hidden costs. So we try not to do this, but if we have to, we know that there will be required specific maintenance later on. So now let's talk about maintenance. I can't imagine a project this old running without tests. And we added RSpec to the project literally on the 5th day. And since then, we are relying on our test suites more than ever. And they helped us upgrade the application through the years. We have many upgrades for these 16 years. The most difficult one was from Ruby 1.8 to 1.9. It took us several months. But the latest upgrade we did, 2 versions of Rails, we skipped one, took us less than 2 months. So this is something you can always predict how long it would take, but you can't avoid it forever. And you may look at upgrades as external-driven changes, but internal-driven changes coming from the stakeholders can be even more challenging. For example, we had this feature that we called the redesign. It took us several months, 7 months, to complete, and it felt like a year. And I wish that we released that feature on small chunks iteratively. And at this moment, I can say that we have avoided the infamous big rewrite, at least for now. And we didn't break the monoliths into microservices because we didn't see the value it would bring to the project. So it stays just the monolith. And of course, we have tons of legacy code. And it felt like a burden, like something messy, broken. Personally, I felt both frustration and shame about this legacy. But then I came across a book about kintsugi. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by gluing the pieces together and highlighting them with gold. The philosophy behind kintsugi is that the breakage is not something to hide, but something to honor. It shows that the object has history. So after reading this book, I changed the way I see legacy code. Before, it was hard for me to make confident decisions about the legacy code. It was hard for me to ask for help from the outside. And after this shift in my mindset towards legacy code, it felt easier to let go of what no longer served us and invite others to help us. And in fact, this in kintsugi, the process makes the object beautiful, more beautiful than before, and it gives the object new life. So does happen with our project. It started moving forward into a renewed purpose, and kintsugi itself is a slow and intentional process and can cultivate a lot of beautiful qualities in the person who practices it. And I believe that adopting a kintsugi approach towards legacy code can cultivate these qualities in us, the developers, too. Now, let's see what other qualities you can gain from working on a long-term project. The first one is humility. Even the most humble developer has moments of overconfidence, but in the long term, they always come back. The system has its way to make you stay curious, stay grounded, and continue learning. Even looking at the Git history of the project makes you stop and appreciate how much effort was put in each line of code and how people evolved over time. So it's really beautiful seeing things like this. And another thing is that long-term projects teach you accountability in the real way. A code you wrote a couple of years ago, still running on production, and you're the one that is gonna fix it after a few years, makes you think twice before rushing a decision or cutting corners. And for such a long period of time, anything can happen, unexpected situations, security issues, COVID, anything. And it just gives you these challenges. When you overcome them, you build this resilience ability, skill. And last but not least, you learn to adapt to the changing requirements, the changing priorities, and even the changes in people you work with or with the stakeholders. And after all, a long-term project doesn't stay alive by staying the same. It has to grow, and this growth is sustained from the growth of the people behind it. And I came across this beautiful metaphor that a long-term team is like a garden. It needs time, care, and attention to flourish. And now I'd like to talk with you about the challenges you may face in such a garden and what are the tools you can use to deal with them. I think the greatest danger is unsolved conflicts in the team or with the stakeholders that stay the same, stay unsolved for a very long period of time. They're like weeds in the garden. They suffocate the plants. And if you can teach yourself some conflict management techniques or just deal with issues early with empathy and kindness, it can help you keep the team healthy in the long term. Another thing that is likely to happen in a long-term project is that developers get bored. So you should make space and encourage them to take part in different activities, learning new skills, take part in open source project at whatever they feel curious about. And as a bonus, this can bring back to your project fresh perspectives and spark of creativity. So it's really refreshing. And last but not least, in your garden, there may be this poison that poisons the soil if people start blaming each other or feeling guilty. And you can't avoid mistakes in the long term, they happen. So what you can do as an antidote to this poison is to create a safe space of ownership where mistakes are seen as opportunities to grow rather than pointing fingers at each other. And just like any gardener will tell you, even the healthiest looking plants can be stressed out beneath the surface. It's the same with people and with long-term projects. There's plenty of time for stress to accumulate. And unlike short-term projects where we have clear endings, in long-term ones, there is this ongoing pressure of feature after feature, urgent tasks, changing priorities, and it can really over time become a mental and emotional luggage that people don't realize how heavy it is for themselves. And that's what burnout is very basically. But the danger here is that it's very difficult to detect early on because the signs are very small. It can be lower energy, difficulty to focus, lack of motivation, and can be easily disregarded by the team leader, the teammates, or the person affected. So it's really tricky. And when the symptoms became more obvious, it's too late. And it doesn't only affect the person, but the whole team morale, communication, collaboration. So I think we don't need to wait for burnout to become a crisis. And I started search for ways to prevent it and to help myself and others to recover. And I will share with you what I have learned from my experience. A few years ago, I noticed the symptoms, some of the symptoms in myself, and I started learning reading and doing this, taking these small steps that made big difference for me, and I hope they can help others too. First was I started letting go of should, just like Arsbeck did, and stopped doing things out of obligation and guilt, and started choosing with intention. And this way helped me gain clarity and control. Then I started, I stopped stealing from my sleep and rest because I know I needed energy to refuel my recovery. And I also started writing in a gratitude journal, and it helped me see good things even when times were hard and difficult, and thus giving me a more balanced perspective. Unfortunately, I noticed some of the symptoms in my teammates, and I was really concerned, and I'd like to share what I've learned about how you can prevent burnout. I've learned that as a team leader or a teammate, you can't fix everything, but every conversation that you can have with your team about stress, about burnout, bringing awareness of the problem, and as a result, creating a safe space for everyone to come to you and say, I'm not okay, you're on the right track. You may use tools like one-on-ones, check-ins, or participate in stress management trainings, whatever works for you. Just you have to be proactive, because burnout doesn't go on its own. It needs awareness and then conscious and thoughtful actions after that, compassionate too. And now let's move to the final part of my talk, where we discuss what it's like to work with the stakeholders for such a long time. And it turns out you need to actually understand what are their values, what are their needs, what are their goals, so that you can make sure the project is can be successful for them. And in the long term, working with stakeholders is not just a single one-time alignment, it's an ongoing partnership. And here 3 practices I want to share with you that help me build and keep this partnership strong through the years. The first one is that you should be proactive and regularly check expectations about timelines, features, and priorities so that you can avoid any misassumptions on both sides. And I've seen many times where the bottlenecks were not because lack of speed or resources, but because lack of clarity. So if you put some effort into ensuring that you clarify what is needed, why is needed, what is no longer relevant, and so on, you can bring everyone on the same page. And last, through these years, you have to adapt again, because not just your team grow, so do the stakeholders, and you need to adjust your approach towards them according their current state, whether they're just figuring things out or they need a deeper collaboration. If you address their needs the right way, this builds trust. And I'd like to share with you a mistake I made by adapting to something I shouldn't have, and it turned out to be unhealthy for the project. A few years ago, I was unaware of the term vocal minorities, but I found myself in a situation where I had to deal with exactly that. And vocal minorities are individuals or a small group of people whose opinions are very strong, and but often are not aligned with the broader goals of the organization. And if you pay too much attention to them, this can lead the project away from its strategic path. And that's exactly what I did. And I spent several months solving issues for only one department, leaving critical areas of the project behind. And now I can share with you what you can do in such a situation so that you don't make the same mistake as I did. The most important one is to make sure every feature you build is aligned with the business goals of the clients, the stakeholders. Stick to the key business metrics, and it will guide you in the right direction. Vocal minorities, their consideration is often valid. So you don't ignore it, acknowledge it, but be very transparent in the communication that there what are the most important things for the project at the current moment, what is the direction. It is designed to go, and make sure that you explain transparently how decisions are made. Thus, you make space for different perspectives, but keep the course straight. And if you can avoid making it personal, it's great. I know that these voices can be confrontational sometimes, but if you stay objective and bring back again the focus on what is most important for the business, you can bring everyone on the same page and move the project forward. And at the end, I'd like to share with you my survival kit. It is a good thing to have on a long journey. And if you find yourself in a situation where you feel lost, you can turn back to the core values of your team, the core values of the project and stakeholders, and they will, like a compass, guide you again to your path. And of course, being honest for all these years in your communication, in your action, builds trust and makes it easier and possible to have these difficult conversations with the team or the stakeholders, and thus finding the best solution for the project. And again, humility, you may come across many situations where you don't know what to do, but being humble and having an open mind to learn new things and to see new perspectives can eventually bring you to a more creative solution and again make the project successful. Of course, when you're working with people, if you treat them with respect and yourself too and the project too, it can give you these wonderful moments where you receive help from someone you didn't expect it. So it's vital. And at the end, I'd like to encourage you not to give up, because in the long run, there are many obstacles, but you should just remember how far you've come and what challenges you've overcome, and this will give you strength to face the next one and continue lead the project to better times. Thank you.